course, people are allowed to use whatever language they feel comfortable with to describe their body. Not everybody wants to be called fat.
Not everyone wants to be called fat. It's okay. Then don't be fat. All right, this one's called Fat is Neutral. Let's check it out.
Fat is a neutral word, and it's okay to be fat. I use fat as a word that describes myself. Just like I'm short and I have blue eyes, I'm fat. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So when people try to use fat as an insult, it just doesn't really affect me at all. Like, yeah, I know I'm fat. It's why I think that euphemisms for fat are a little bit more insulting than if someone just says fat. Like if somebody refers to me as like, oh, you're big, you're curvy. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just fat, but like that's fine.
Okay.
And of course, people are allowed to use whatever language they feel comfortable with to describe their body. Not everybody wants to be called fat, and that's
kind of, again,
fine.
Hold on.
But I just don't see how you can be really averse to saying fat without also believing that being fat is a bad thing. What do you think?
Averse? I'm. What's her point? What's her point? I mean, forget what she said. I think I think I might agree with her with some of the things. Yeah, you're fat. You're fat. Let's use the word fat. But here's the thing, right? Not everyone wants to be called fat. It's okay. Then don't be fat. But here's where it crosses the line. You can't determine what other people say. Now, if I'm sitting on the side of the road outside a McDonald's or a Dairy Queen, and I'm just saying, hey, fatty, you're a fatty McFatterson. I'm just being an asshole pointing at people and harassing them. I don't need to say it to them. They are fat. I'm not going to go and like try to hurt someone's feelings actively. When people are putting bullshit videos out online, yeah, you're putting it out for all to see and to respond, to comment, and to discuss. So I'm going to make my own videos discussing this, but you know, I don't hate any of these individuals per se. I hate what they say, and I don't think that they should be grifting and manipulating weak-willed people and, you know, playing victims in our society. I think it's important to push back on it. But, you know, you can't control what other people say, nor should you. So you can want to be called fat. You can not want to be called fat. It's just a term that means you're more horizontal than you should be. But bottom line, if it offends you, it's probably true. If it offends you, whose fault is it for being offended? Is it the person? That person might not be a nice person, but it's still your offense. You're taking offense. Your internalization of whatever's being said, and that's you. That's not the person saying it. There's a lot of mean things in the world. There are people being executed in Iran and other countries for, you know, political, you know, speaking out against the government all the time. In China, the Uyghur Muslims, there's a lot of people that are protesting around the country and around the world. There's a lot of people starving. There's a lot of bad shit in this world. There's a lot of good shit too. So in other words, yeah, fat is a term. So whether or not you like being called fat or not, it's really not your concern. Again, the same thing with the pronouns. Notice how the pronouns are terms that are going to be used when you're not there. My pronouns are he, him. When is that used in my presence? You're talking to me. You're not going to say, oh, he. I guess you're talking to someone else. Or him. I'm going to give it to him. Well, if you're using he or him, I'm not there. So it's none of my business what terms you're using when I'm not there. It's this weird authoritarian control, kind of this narcissistic, it's all about me, self-conscious. What are you saying about me? What words are you using? Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me behind my back? So I'm going to say whatever I want about you. Maybe you don't spend time with me because you don't like what I say about you. Or maybe other people hear what I say about you and they're like, well, I don't want to spend time with him because of how he talks about that person. How's he going to talk about me? Whatever. So, I mean, but you can't control what people say. You can control how you respond to it. So that's a lesson for everyone. You can't control what things, these are things you can't control. You cannot control what other people say. You can control whether you spend time with them. You can control how you react to it, right? You can control those things, but you can't control what people say.
We stay woke, but y'all sleep. Real mode, but Yeah. Hey, y'all some jokers, y'all a bunch of clowns. You will not get a laugh out of me. You can talk, but you can't denounce. I live a different theology. Why I transferred to a new account? You just fucked over a prodigy. Posted up with a running crown.
You are the king and apology.
You about to see a new side of me. I hope you know. We stand up and watch our enemy go. Empires fall, my legacy grows. I might just hop on this melody flow. All this vision, no clarity.